Let's go over to the non-member lobby and get a few more people in. Let's go to, oh, I don't know. Why don't we go to, how about Udahef from Florida? You're barely audible and choppy. So if we could fix even one of the two things, we might be better off. But if we can't fix either, we'll have to move on.
Is it any better now?
Unfortunately, we have fixed neither issue there. Let's try instead. How about, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Is it Chidi from Helsinki? Chidi?
Hey, Mr. Pakman, how you doing?
I'm doing well. What's the right pronunciation?
Chidi, yeah, I spoke to
Chidi.
you maybe about a month and a half ago.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, the finished Californian guy. I don't know if you remember, but
I do remember.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. So I was curious about your take on sovereign nations joining NATO, and I'm curious about Finland and Sweden's membership into NATO and what you think Russia's response will be, because both will be voting for membership by June, and there will be downtime between like applying and actually joining. So during that time, there really isn't any security guarantees, and it leaves Finland and Sweden vulnerable to um, the current unstable Russian government and army and Putin. And so I'm curious what you think a possible Russian attack would mean for the international community and their response. And then obviously, if Finland and Sweden were to be at war with Russia upon gaining membership with NATO, that would trigger Article 5 and guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, listen, call me crazy. I don't really see Russia going to war with Sweden and Finland. Is that, I mean, are you saying that you think that's plausible?
I mean, I'm worried about the potential, yeah, because I mean, Finland has a pretty long history with Russia, obviously back in World War II, between the Winter War and the Continuation War. Russia, had similar false flag operations during World War II to attack Finland, and similarly took pieces of Finnish land during that time. So, there's some deep rooted history there, and then obviously Putin's in a very unstable state at the moment, and they've been making very serious threats to Finland and Sweden about potentially joining NATO. So yeah, it's a very interesting time.
Yeah, I think that there is no question that Russia will posture as we are under threat, we are under attack. This is aggression against us if NATO were to grow. I just don't see Russia attacking Finland and Sweden, and I could be wrong, and I'll end up eating my phone. If that's the case, I just don't see that as likely. Generally speaking, when it comes to NATO, I sort of have like a libertarian view in a sense, which is if NATO accepts applications and countries decide that it's in their best interest to solicit membership, there is no particular reason that they should be limited or prevented from doing that, or that NATO should preemptively agree that they won't consider particular requests. I just don't see any reason for that. But I also understand logically that there's no question that if all of a sudden everybody but Russia joins NATO, that is something that is going to perk your ears up as Russia. And you could legitimately say that that feels like aggression to us. So I understand that. I'm not unrealistic in that way. I get that. But I take a sort of libertarian approach to NATO in that sense.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time geopolitically, because obviously, like if it were similar for the U.S. and Russia were to create alliances with the likes of Mexico and Canada, this is often the argument made that the U.S. would be so comfortable with it. So yeah, it's an interesting time, and especially in Finland, approval for joining NATO has never been higher. I believe it's 60 or 70% now, which is quite unfathomable, considering Finland's very neutral stance since World War II. So, yeah, just wanted to get your take on that, and considering your kind of affinity towards Finland and a lot of these European nations.
Love Finland, absolutely. All right, well, listen, an important issue. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, there is Chidi from Helsinki. Very great to hear from you.